Oh, buddy. Howdy, y'all. Welcome to another overnight Secret Zatsu stream. Yeah, we're just gonna hang out and talk. How's it going, everybody? As you can see, we are patiently waiting for these fates to go through and clear up. While we wait for the snake, you know, I got one of them down the other night, so I just need one more, and then I can get my capybara. So yeah, hi, welcome. You know, it's been a couple of days. It just really felt like streaming because yeah, we've been a little lax on it, haven't we? And you know, it's been a little weird. We're keeping the real VTuber hours right now. I have to work again this afternoon, so that's gonna be fun. You know, I'm going to bed like right around the time that I would normally be needing to go into work, so yeah, that's fun. It's fine though. I'm used to it. That's just this life, man. That's just what we do here. So, yeah. But I figured if I'm gonna be hanging out in game and just kind of chilling and doing maybe some roulette, some crafting, something like that, I might as well hop in here, say hello to everyone, see how everyone's, you know, coming along in Dawn Trail. I hope everyone's still having a good time. If you're still making your way through the MSQ, obviously, I am quite well beyond the MSQ at this point, so just kind of be aware for spoilers and whatnot. But if you are interested in the fate, I think most people kind of know how it works by now, but you got to do the Serpent Lord. Got to do the Serpent Lord chain down here. It starts with the Serpent Lord stirs, and then kind of goes from there. And then yeah, you've got our circle up here. This is for the capybara. The other world mount I think is in zone 6. So yeah, you've got options. The other one I think is the one that gives the chipmunk outfit. This one is for the actual mount though. So yeah, you know, we're making our way through. We're getting it done slowly but surely. Yeah, you know, it's been a weird week. It's been I don't know. Thankfully I don't have like that many hours this week, so I can fit in these little streams like this. But yeah, it's been it's been a week. We'll just put it that way. But yeah, you know, yeah, I've had a lot of fun in Dawn Trail. I've been doing most of my, you know, spending most of my downtime, most of my off time, and just leveling the crafters, trying to get my funds up. As you can see, we are actually above what I was when I originally started Dawn Trail, so the crafting has been good. Things have been doing well, and yeah, I'm still enjoying it. You know, the rant about the ending aside, I'm still very much having a good time overall. So yeah, that's what's important. You know, some of the story beats will hit, sometimes they won't, but at the end of the day, FF14's content I think has never been better. So when it comes to doing all of your usuals, your EXs, your hey, well, I guess I'm taking him out. When it comes to doing your extremes, when it comes to doing your dungeons and roulettes and all of that, yeah, I mean, all of it's very fun. I'm just, you know, waiting to have a little bit of time without having work or anything to worry about, the old retail job, and so that I can get some G-posing done. I feel like I really have not had a chance to do a whole lot since the expansion came out in that regards. Get some new thumbnails made. And, you know, you want to give it, I try giving it at least a couple of weeks, so people have a chance to go through the MSQ and all of that before I start putting thumbnails and stuff that might spoil anything on there. Obviously, I will always be avoiding spoilers, but we got to get some thumbnails of these new zones in, like sooner than later. It's time for a refresh. I can only sit at my little coffee table outside of my house in Shirogane for so long, right? So that's next on the agenda list. But aside from that, you know, coming up in the next couple of days, I should be able to fit in, you know, should be able to fit in another FF8 or Horizon stream. I think it'll be kind of dependent on, you know, the hours more than anything else. Normally, like, that kind of thing I try doing a little bit more during peak hours instead of 2 o'clock in the morning, right? instead of the real overnight Zatsu stream in the middle of the week. You know, I'm not a big numbers guy, but you got to pay attention to those kind of things all the, you know, a little bit at least, right? So, yeah, that's why we're doing this at 3 o'clock in the morning. Hello, people from the future who end up watching this on the VOD. Because we know that no one's gonna be watching it here in person, right? Everyone's asleep. Everyone's got actual lives to get to, right? So yeah. But yeah, you know, it's been work more than anything. You know, I thought that I would have fewer hours than I actually have. Things have not gone all that well. Things happening in the house. It's just, yeah, I gotta get out of here. That's really all it comes down to at the end of the day. But, you know, can't do that without streaming, so here we are. Okay. Thankfully, these fates really aren't, like, too bad or anything like that. They're pretty easy. I've had a really good time with most of them. It's just a good opportunity to get some of my other jobs leveled. So I've been working on Sage, and almost all of this 2 levels here has been from just fates. I don't think I've done really any side quests or anything like that with this job. Now, I have gone through almost all of the MSQ on one of my alts. And one thing that I've noticed is kind of interesting about it is it doesn't feel like it when you're going through it initially, but I think this expansion is probably the least actual gameplay that we have ever done in any expansion. Now, that's going to sound like a bad thing. It is not necessarily a bad thing. You know, if you are in this for the story, right? And the story is about as long as any of the others. But I noticed when I was leveling my alt through, so I've got this thing down to science. Like, as an RPer, right, I've been through the entire MSQ multiple times and leveled multiple characters doing this. So on average, most expansions are between 20 to 25 hours of content, and that is with skipping cutscenes, right? But this one just flew by. And there are a couple of reasons. One, I think there genuinely is less content to do when you're actually doing the MSQ. Like, you are mostly in it for the story and reading the cutscenes, more so than any other expansion that we've had so far. That's my general impressions running through it a second time, right? Drink coffee. The other big thing is that I know a lot of people have been talking about the lack of voiced cutscenes, which is definitely very apparent. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it seems like they brought in more North American actors this time, and if they did so, just given the time frame, it was probably at the start of the writer's strike, writers in the SAG strike. So that might be why the front half has so little voice cutscenes compared to the back half, is probably because, you know, got to support the artist actually creating your work, right? So I think that was part of it. Not a big deal. But one thing that I did notice is that most of them are actual cutscenes, as in, like, they can be skipped, as opposed to a lot of the older expansions where there is a very good portion that you're sitting in the game, like in the overworld, reading the text on the screen and just clicking with just like the regular models, right? Like, they're not animated, anything like that. It's just text pop-ups. You gotta click through. There's no way to skip it. This one, most everything is an actual cutscene. There are very few points where you are just standing in the overworld and looking at text. So yeah, whenever I did my alt and just like burning through MSQ as fast as I could so I can get to the glams, like, I got it done in about a day, which is unheard of. I would say maybe 16 hours of content, if that. If that. I did not keep an exact count. I've got other alts I'm going to be tearing through with it, so that's always something that I can do. But yeah, like, very, very little actual content compared to most of the others. Now, that doesn't mean that there's nothing to do in the game. Obviously, you've got plenty of stuff to do in the game. It's just that it's kind of separated a little bit from the MSQ content. Now, the MSQ content we did do was very good. I think most people really, really liked the solo duties, because those are pretty wild. And of course, the actual dungeons and trials are really good too. But yeah, you know, aside from a couple of like follow quests and whatever was going on with the Pelu trading, there's really not a whole lot that you've really got to wander around and do through the MSQ compared to most times. Now, I have not finished Z6 on this alt yet, so that'll take a little bit more time, probably just because it is a little bit more running around with how Z6 works, going to all of the little individual areas within the zone. But yeah, I'm not expecting it to change all that much. So yeah, you know, like I said, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you are doing this for the MSQ, like, you're not going to be paying attention to most of that content. You're going to be reading and watching the cutscenes and taking part in the story, that kind of thing. And when you are doing alts, though, like, I really like it. I like the fact that I can just speed run my alts through most of the MSQ and get back up to the areas that I want to be in. You know, a lot of them are RP alts that I do a lot of G posing and stuff with, so getting to the areas and getting to the dungeons that have the clams that I want. Yeah, like I'm able to kind of rush through it now compared to you know, sitting there for 25 hours trying to skip cutscenes and stuff at Shadowbringers or whatever. So, you know, a little bit different. Like I said, I personally like it. I didn't really pay much attention while we were actually doing our playthrough, because again, I was paying attention to the story and watching the cutscenes. But yeah, I definitely noticed it going through on an alt. Now, the other big thing is the fate. You know, here we are. So you got to do the Serpent Lord stores. I'm on Faloop right now, keeping an eye on the tracker and stuff. This one has like 15 hours or something like that still to go. We are like right there in the middle of the bar, which is like the average place where it normally pops. The last one, I don't think the last one popped until it was, the chance was almost at 100%. Now, the way that the Faloop works is like, that's just when the chance to spawn is capped. We don't know what the actual chance to spawn is. That 100% on Faloop, if you guys are reading that, that is not the spawn chance. That is just when the chance to spawn caps. So if the chance to spawn is 20, like the cap is 25% each time the fate is run through, then basically it means there is a 100% chance that the fate will spawn with a 25% chance, if that makes sense, right? We don't, like I said, I don't know, I don't think anyone knows what the actual spawn chance is for the snake. But right now, it's like, for this one, it is like 68% of the way through its cap. So right now, it might be at like 10 or 12% or something like that every time we finish the fate chain, until it actually pops up. So there's that. It is a fun fight. You know, the only reason I survived last time, kind of hard, is it doesn't get burned down all that easily. Last time I did this, we had probably like 400 or 500 in the instance. I mean, it took a good 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to get down. The only reason I survived a lot of the mechanics was latency. It's either latency or there were so many people that the moves did not hit everybody. Like, I don't know if its AoE stuff works the same way as player AoE stuff is, where there's kind of a cap on how many things it can hit. But yeah, there were a lot of mechanics I was standing in. It was just like, oh, I'm just gonna ignore you there, buddy. So yeah, I was basically just a token reser for a lot of that. But it is a fun fight. It is kind of hard. I just need one more. I need one more snake, please, so I can be done with this for the expansion. Just want my capybara, man. It shouldn't be that hard. Aside from that, you know, what is it today? Are we going into Thursday now? The Thursday. That just kind of goes to show how much the days are starting to just kind of blur together at this point. I really have no concept of time. Yeah. You know, it's just, You know, we're doing our thing here, got the retail thing going on. It's hard to kind of keep track of the base. It really is. But yeah, we're making it. We're making it slowly but surely. So aside from that, you know, it's just been really about this. I've been trying to watch some more K-dramas, keep up to date on some new stuff. You know, I started watching, what is it, Queen of Tears? That one I'm not sure if I like. I might end up giving that one a skip. It's just, you know, it sounded like an interesting premise. It feels kind of like a Korean version of Succession, right? But I don't know, there's something about it that's very confusing. And I think a lot of it is because obviously I don't speak Korean. I gotta rely on the subtitles. And yeah, there's just a lot of names and a lot of like hierarchy that goes around in that one. And so I'm honestly like a little bit over halfway through the first episode, and I'm very lost about everything going on right now. So yeah, you know, to me, if it's one of those things where it's just confusing, then I usually end up skipping it. Like, no need to focus on everyone in this family. Just give me the husband and wife, and maybe their father and grandfather who run the company. And really, that's all I need. Like, introduce everyone else kind of slowly but surely, instead of having everyone jump at you in the first episode, right? But yeah, you know, I've been trying to look and find some new stuff to watch, man. I watched Axel F the other night. That was fun. You know, Beverly Hills Cop. I love Beverly Hills Cop, man. It was one of those movies that, for whatever reason, you know, my parents had HBO way back when they had like one of those giant satellite dishes that you had to put in your front yard or whatever, like the ones that were the size of a car. And so they had HBO for a time, and they used to put a lot of movies on VHS. Like, they were those guys. The sailing the high seas runs in the family blood, as it were. Just put it that way. But yeah, they had just a bunch of VHSs, and all of them would fit like 2 to 3 movies. So we had like Ghostbusters on one. And then, yeah, Beverly Hills Cop was another one. And that one, like, I was too young to really understand most of Beverly Hills Cop 1. But I just remember as a kid, it was one of those that would be on all the time. Because we would just pop it in and just, like, have something to watch, right? Even though we didn't really understand it, we were like, oh, here's this VHS with this movie and this, and, you know, this funny guy in it. And, yeah, so it really felt, you know, kind of like the original. Was it completely necessary? No. Does it really do anything new for the franchise? No. But it was nice to see Eddie Murphy back in the Letterman jacket. I can't lie. I had a good time watching it. My only complaint is that it just did not have enough Judge Reinhold. It was kind of wild how little they used him in it. I don't know if there were scheduling conflicts or what was going on. Or he just kind of did it as kind of like a favor or something like that. Yeah, he's not really in the movie a whole lot. But I liked it, and it was, you know, a good focus on Axel and his daughter. You know, I thought that was I thought they did a good job with that relationship. And yeah, it was just, I don't know, it was a lot of fun. I thought Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who I really was kind of surprised to see in it. It was like, what's that guy been up to lately? You know, he kind of vanished for a while after Inception. Yeah, it was nice to see it, and he's got some good comedy chops to him. So yeah, you know, it was just a good time. But really, that's about the only thing that I have watched lately. It's been all work and sleep and this. Like, that's really about it. So, you know, I scheduled this as a secret Zatsu, and I didn't really come with a list prepared this time. Most of the time I try coming with, you know, a few topics to talk about, but honestly, there really hasn't been a ton new. There's not even really a whole lot going on in the FF14 discourse. Unless you're just really thirsty for Bakul Shasha, right? I guess that's making the rounds. But, you know, everyone's got someone, I guess. So yeah, you know, most of what I've seen with the game has just been Just been people talking about Z6, the ending, and trying to make sense of a couple things that I felt, you know, I brought up on stream last time with them being a little bit confusing or not as well polished in their explanation as we typically expect from Square Enix, and yeah, I think that definitely shows with some of the discussions going on. But that's really about it. I mean, it seems like the general vibe is that most people are really kind of chill with it. They really like the actual content. I think people are kind of split on whether or not they actually like the MSQ. I am obviously like, I really liked the front half, thought the back half kind of waffled it. But yeah, it seems like reviews are kind of all over the place. It's not getting obviously like the universal reaction that Shadowbringers and for the most part Endwalker did. But it doesn't seem like people think it's garbage either. It really kind of feels like it depends entirely on what you are bringing into it with your own personal life stuff, which will make sense once you've done Zone 6 if you haven't done it yet. If you haven't done it yet, what are you doing watching this stream, man? Like, we're a few days out from that. Yeah, I think the Bakul memes have been really good. I feel like that's been like the token thing this time around, all thanks to one extremely thirsty Twitter user. So go figure. Not my thing, but you know, I like him as kind of like, as someone, I read someone describe him as like the ultimate wrestling heel. And yeah, that kind of checks out. I like him because he's just a very one-note big fight nerd. It's hard to go wrong with a character like that. They're easy to hate, easy to redeem, no thoughts, head empty, just punch. Yeah. I am on the side of Bakul Shasha, but for very different reasons than most people, I guess. I don't know. Don't look at me like I haven't been touched in like 5 years, and not in like a lewd way either. I just mean in any way. So I'm probably the last person to be asking about my my thirst thoughts for Bakul Shasha. I did see the Y'shtola Trust outfit for 100. Yep. Gonna have some fun with that. But yeah, aside from that, I mean, it seems like people are doing all right. I think if there's anything like, if there's anything truly that I feel like might be kind of a negative for the expansion, I think a lot of it is probably just the fact that it does feel like, okay, we're in another FF14 expansion, right? I feel like it brings up some interesting lore that's going to be expanded on in the patch content, but at the same time, like, it does feel, and again, this was part of my rant about Zone 6 earlier, but it does feel like they're just kind of retreading the past couple of expansions on some of the big story beats and stuff, at least in tone, if not necessarily the content, but also kind of in the content too. So yeah, you know, I like it. I think the graphics update has been the biggest thing, right? But yeah, you know, and I don't think that's necessarily bad. It's FF14 that we all know and love. It's got some new zones and stuff. So in that regard, I don't think it's bad. Like, it gives people an excuse to come back and be back in the game. But we'll have to see what that means long term. We'll have to, you know, I think that might change a lot once Arcadian comes out. People are going to be curious about that. You guys saw me on the stream where I was, you know, hooting and hollering because the old 1690 was booting up. But yeah, you know, I think that if there is any like a truly universal negative, I feel like that's probably it. It's just yeah, we're kind of treading on the old ground again. For me personally, I think a lot of it's just because I haven't had time to come through and like really do a lot of the side stuff that I like doing. You know, I like doing the G posing and RP and that kind of thing. I have not had a chance to really get in here and do it. So, you know, as things calm down, as I get all of this stuff done that I wanted done, like this stupid fate, then we'll have a chance you know, to get back and just kind of enjoy being in the world, which has always been the biggest thing for me, right? For any MMO, I just like being in the world and, you know, escaping for a little bit, escaping the hell that is real life. That is my real life job at the moment. So I just have not had a chance to do it. So I think that does, you know, partially affect things. But like, I really want to get in here and do a little bit of G-posing. One of my alts has a nice little cowboy glam. But aside from that, I have not really had a chance to do a whole lot here on Kyra. Or any of my other characters, right? As you probably noticed, I do have a new glam for Kyra, which is interesting. I never thought I would ever change away from my traditional red mage glams. But, you know, I had to have a Section 9 glam, and now that I got all of my Vanguard gear, like, yeah, we're doing it. Let's get them. Yeah, like, obviously you can't see it right now because I've got my Sage on. The only thing that I dislike about a lot of the like the cyberpunk, like the Vanguard stuff, you know, it has the runners up the legs, right? And you cannot change the colors on those. And I really don't like the healer one because my main RP ult that I use is a Sage. I don't even think I have any other jobs level up on her, right? And I got a really decent glam going with her, but like the purple just kind of clashes. Like I don't want purple everything on that character. Like she's more of a blue kind of girl, right? And yeah, you cannot change that. And obviously if I want to use like the scouting gear or anything like that, then I've got to level up a whole new job. And God knows how long that's gonna take. Yeah, it would be nice. I feel like one of the big things that would be really cool for future expansions and also give crafters another thing that they could do and make a little bit of money on is if we could take like dungeon drops, right? We could take dungeon drops and convert them into non-class bound glamours, right? Like we kind of do that as just their own items with like the replica gear, the replica Skyrat's harness and all of that. But I would like to be able to do that with like just about any kind of dungeon drop. I think that would be really cool. Like obviously we've been asking for it for a while for something closer to WoW's transmog system. And it kind of would be similar to WoW's. I don't know if the engine can even really do it. But you know, something closer to that. If there's no way for us to do it like that, and then yeah, take like something like desynthing, except it converts it to a glamour. At least then people would be able to get glams of different kinds of dungeon gear for different jobs and be able to get the color scheming that they want, right? And like Vanguard in particular, it's not even just color schemes. There's a couple of different jacket designs and stuff in there too. They got the one that's got like the headphones, not a big poofy sweater. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the poofy sweater on most of my characters. It works for Kyra right now. She's got a pretty cool jacket, but it doesn't work on all of them. Like it's very poofy. It is extremely poofy. I imagine once a certain crowd in the community gets certain tools back up, I'm gonna see quite a few mods either slimming it down or something like that. But you know, as they are in the base game, just way too poofy. But I do want the one with the headphones, right? And I do want different color schemes. Yeah, I think that'd be something nice to see in the future. We were talking about dream goals. I think everyone kind of has a dream goal of like a new glamour system. And you know, they've certainly heard about it enough. We'll just have to wait and see how they approach it. But yeah, like I think that would be a different way to approach it if they can't completely overhaul like the glamour plate system and how glamours are saved. Then yeah, give us the ability to craft replica items from almost any kind of dungeon gear. It would be a lot of items, yeah. But I don't think it would be too bad. Because for the most part, it's going to be the same models and stuff. You would just need to strip them of the class requirements. The class and the level requirements. Which I don't think would be too big of a deal. The hard part's the models. Yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes. And you know, they have tested it before with the replica Skyrat stuff, which is odd. Like, I don't know why that set in particular is really the only one that does it. The Heavensward Alliance series is just very weird. But you know, they've shown that they can make replicas. It's just a matter of can they allow us to make replicas? But that might be a decent solution. Okay. Yeah, if this doesn't end up popping after a couple more cycles, we will probably go out. Hey, I still need to level my alchemists. We can always do a couple expert roulettes because I can always use tomestones. I still have not even touched the extremes yet, by the way. I haven't had time. If people want to run the extremes, like here on stream, I'm game for that. You know, you just need to let me know in chat. Let me know in chat, message in game, anything like that, and yeah, we can do an extreme at some point here on the channel. I would actually almost prefer doing it with viewers. But yeah, I haven't touched them yet. I've heard they're a lot of fun. They're kind of wild. Not super difficult, but they hit like trucks. So yeah, you know, I really want to get in and try. You know, I was kind of waffling back and forth on whether or not we were going to end up doing any Talking to Red episodes this expansion. And you know, I'm still kind of split on it, to be honest. You know, it's difficult. It's difficult for the channel because obviously I love my FF14 viewers. I've talked about this before, you know, just getting into the business side of things and trying to stream, especially as a male VTuber, right? Because we've already got the game kind of set against us as it stands. But you know, I love my FF14 viewers, and the problem is I get a lot of viewers that find me because of my old guides, right? I've talked about this kind of briefly on the stream before, but yeah, a lot of people come here for the guides, and then I feel like once a lot of them find out that I'm a VTuber, either they're not watching a lot of the actual content that I do, or they, you know, obviously unsub, and then, you know, the cycle starts anew as more people find the guides and stuff. You know, I've thought about privatizing the guides before, if nothing else than to help the channel. If we do end up doing that, I mean, it's gonna be tricky. Like, I'm not opposed to making a separate channel that would be just for the guides, but how I could move them over would be a different story. So yeah, the download option on YouTube itself is not that great. Quality that it downloads at is not great. Some of those guides are fairly old, so the video quality itself was not stellar, to say the least, you know, especially the old WoW guides. Yeah, it's just it's one of those things. Like, I want people to like know that we're VTubers here. Like, that is the grand majority of the content. That is like 90% of what we are doing here on the channel. And you know, as much as I like doing the Talking to Red guides, I feel like it also weights a lot of what viewers find this channel for, when we really need to be focusing on the VTuber thing, more than anything else. So, you know, that's kind of why I'm split about doing it. I like doing the guides. I like having fun with them. But if the YouTube algorithm is just going to keep showing those instead of literally all of the content that I do most of the time, then that's a problem, right? So, yeah. Here we go. And yeah, you know, that's kind of the thing, is like I said, you know, especially as a male VTuber, we kind of have the odds stacked against us. And to be honest, I'm not entirely sure it's for one particular reason. Part of it's just the VTuber fan base, I think. But, yeah, it's tricky. I think the big thing is that with a lot of male VTubers, like, I'll be honest, I don't really watch a whole lot of male VTubers myself. And a large part of that, I think, is because so many of them have this kind of concept of what a male streamer should be, right? And I feel like a lot of the male VTubers, particularly more so than others, right? It feels like feels more often like they're trying to put on an act. More than that. If you watch a lot of male streamers, they're not super loud. They're not screaming into the mic and overreacting to a lot of things. Like, they react. You know, that's just part of being an entertainer, I think, especially if you're doing, you know, content like FF14 where the reactions are a big part of it. But like, you know, you watch Asmongold or whoever. Like, for the most part, like, yeah, they get passionate, but they're not really like yelling into the mic or screaming or anything like that. But when you watch a lot of male VTubers, I think they are. Like, a lot of them feel like there's a certain way that a male streamer has to act, and they kind of go over the top with it, and it feels very cartoony. In a way that it doesn't for a lot of, like, you know, just regular Hollow members, for example, right? I don't think it's necessarily that people have anything against male VTubers. I think it's just, people just haven't figured out that, like, you can just be a streamer, man. Like, that's all you gotta do. Just be a regular old streamer. And, you know, for me personally, you know, I'm more of a fan of, like, Axel Sirios. Like, I would say, like, in terms of our content that we do here, yeah, that's pretty close to Axel. In terms of just the vibe. Like, that first round of Hollow Stars English, fantastic. Like, those guys knew what they were doing, and I was so disappointed when we ended up losing 2 of them. Because that was an A+ gen, and I have a feeling if those 2 were still around, things would be a lot different than the vibes that we currently have in the VTuber space as male indies, right? You know, unfortunately, it is what it is. Yeah, they needed to do what they needed to do for whatever reasons it happens to be. And unfortunately, we lost them. And I think it shows. I think the numbers show it. I think the numbers of the new rounds of Hollow Stars that have a very different vibe show it. So yeah, you know, I think they had something there, and unfortunately, things didn't work out. You know, but you know, that first gen of Hollow Stars English, like, that to me is what a lot of male VTubing should be. And in the current space, I don't think it is. So yeah, it can be a little tricky. You know, we don't talk a whole lot about that kind of stuff here. You know, I'm not a big, I don't know. I don't want to say things are, like, set in stone in any one way or the other. You know, again, I'm just one guy. I'm one indie. I've only had my own model for, what, less than a month now. So, you know, you gotta kind of keep some of that in mind too. There's going to be a lot of different people with a lot of different opinions on what could help male VTubing take off. But that's just kind of my personal take on it, right? Just as a viewer, that's kind of been my general rule for anything that I do. Whether it's the book writing, whether it's content creation, whether it's making music, I make the content that I want to watch. That's basically what it comes down to. And if I'm not watching something, then it's usually for a reason. So I try and avoid that kind of content, right? And for me, the big overacting, over the top, being loud in the microphone kind of male reaction VTubing that I think is very common in the male VTubing space, it's 100% not my thing. And I think everyone is trying to chase trends that aren't actually trends. If there's any other way to describe it. Like, people had this idea, like I said, of what a male streamer is supposed to do and supposed to look like and supposed to react like on camera, and then that's not really the way that it is when you actually watch, you know, XQC or Seagull or any of them, right? And yeah, it just became this kind of self-fulfilling cycle where some people in the male VTubing space started, you know, thinking that this is how things had to be. And then other people started following suit because that's what they heard from this other person. And yeah, and it's very wild to me that even the big corpos have kind of fallen into that trap. Like, you know, all the stars, you guys are supposed to be kind of the front runners, right? Like, you're supposed to be the ones leading the charge. But even in certain ways, I feel like they have kind of fallen into the trap of like thinking, quote unquote, how it should be when it comes to the male VTubing space. But yeah, I mean, there's no denying, I think, that things are kind of stacked against us to a certain point. And again, there's a lot more reasons to it than that. But yeah, you know, I think a lot of it is because with the anime and everything, people just try being too much of a character. That it just be chill, man. Like, hang out. Like, that's all you really got to do. Just stream. Like, I don't need to hear you screaming into the mic and, you know, being a giant fail son. Like, it's funny for a small group of people, but obviously the numbers are saying that it's not a thing for the grand majority of viewers out there. But then again, most of them have like 10 to 100 times more subs than I do. So yeah, take my advice for what it's worth. But that's just kind of my general thoughts on the industry right now with where things are at. You know, I don't have any complaints with how things are going. I mean, I wouldn't go back at this point. I like VTubing. I like this model. I like it in terms of the content that we do and the fact that I can stream a little bit more, right? I feel like we've been very consistent ever since I switched to VTubing with my stream schedule compared to doing the live cam stuff. I have to look at my weird skeleton face the entire time, right? Yeah. I feel like overall it has been a very, very good thing for me personally. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the content that I do, it's the same reason I don't do a lot of loot tubing. Like, I appreciate that people are into me, I guess. But like, I'm sorry, I just want to work, man. I just want to make funny videos for the internet. I'm not really into that. Like, sorry. So yeah, you know, you got that too. Okay. So I have a feeling we're gonna strike out tonight. This thing's got, like I said, like another 13 to 15 hours left on it. So there's that. I guess we gotta work on. Oh. Yeah, we might end up doing some ruse. I'm kind of thinking, because like these are not the capped ruse. I mean, it has a total cap on what you can keep, but it's not capped per week. So we can get as many as we want. And you know, we could stand to do a little bit. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff that we could kind of work on. What I think that's tombstone gear. So this is all 700. As you can see, I've been holding off on melding as well. Again, I haven't done extremes yet. I haven't needed to meld. But now that we're in like tombstone territory, now that we're in tombstone territory, I think maybe it might be time. Problem is, I don't know how many. I don't really think I've got any 12s. Come to think of it, I've got some determination 12. Yeah, that's really gonna help me out a whole. Yeah, so we need to build up our materia stores, and then I can start melding as we start getting some of this tombstone gear. So I've got my rapier, and I've got the chest piece, and I think that's it. I don't think I have worked on anything else yet. Man, this stupid snake. I just need one more kill of it. Like, you only need to do it twice. It's really not hard. It's just a lot of waiting. Yeah, the website for the tracker is Faloop. F-A-L-O-O-P. So if you're trying to keep track of all of this on your own, like, there you go. So yeah, let's see. We'll try killing 2 birds with 1 stone. It is Alliance raid, I think, that gives the but it's got to be a healer. And I just don't know where else to get some materia other than just crafting and then extracting the whole time, right? Yeah. I guess this is it. I guess we're doing this. Now, I haven't gotten any of like the old Alliance raids yet. I've heard they look really good. Like Labyrinth of the Ancients and stuff, like most of the Crystal Tower series. So I'm kind of curious. I kind of hope we get one of those. Yeah, we might as well be in queue if we're going to be sitting here waiting for this stupid snake to spawn. Yeah, I would like to hop in and see what they look like. I'm sure Circus Tower, just judging based off the new Aetherites and stuff, I'm sure they look really good. Labyrinth of the Ancients is probably the one I'm most curious about, though. Is it still that ugly yellow throughout the whole space, or did they actually add some light shaders to it? There's not just piss raid the entire time, huh? Yeah, I need to look and see how we can get some more materia. I mean, you've got the script. Guess I'm not using script for a whole lot else right now. I shored up a couple of my crafters that were kind of feeling it. They're feeling a little behind. But it wasn't quite enough. Let's see. What do we got here in the area? Get some mesquite beans, some acacia logs. I feel like the mesquite beads are good. I could use those. And we've got the legendary mature tree, because I did use some script to go ahead and start getting my tomes. Oh, that was fast. I'm kind of surprised. Hey then. Okay, so instance 1, the snake popped about 2.5 hours ago. 3 hours at this point, I guess. It was like 2 hours ago. Started the stream. So we're hopeful. We are hopeful. Naturally, it popped like when I went to sleep, because that was the one that I was sitting there waiting on most of my time after I got off of work today. And yeah, like of course it pops an hour after I go to sleep. World of Darkness, okay. The thing is, I don't think World of Darkness has the updates yet. I mean, the crystals look kind of like the normal crystals. Now, the lighting, as far as I'm aware, the lighting is kind of universal, but in terms of upgraded textures, it's kind of hard to tell. It is, as you would imagine, quite dark. So, okay. But it doesn't look all that much different other than the new shaders to me. I guess some people had some issues with past raid, it looks like in chat. It's just trying to see. It has been an interesting time in the old raids. Really just dungeons in general. Like I said, my main alt that I just got done leveling through the MSQ is a Sage. And I gotta tell you, tanks, please learn how mitigation works. I had a, I was mostly running the 97 dungeon, obviously for the glams, but I did have a 99 dungeon the other night while going through the MSQ, where I don't think they used Rampart more than once. Like, not just on trash, like on the bosses too. They were a gunbreaker, and I don't think I saw Rampart go up more than once. I definitely did not see a reprisal go out at all in the entire dungeon. So yes, tanks, please Please learn how mitigation works. Those roll actions are required. They're not optional. They're not like, oh, these are less powerful than my real job moves, right? I think that's where a lot of the problem comes, is they're like, oh, well, these are just roll actions. I just need to focus on my job actions. And no. Reprisal, Rampart, Arm's Length, those are like required parts of your rotation. It's been a while. Like, I've had some pretty bad tanks when I'm trying to heal my way through old content. But it's been the first time in a while that I've had especially a Gunbreaker. Usually it's a Dark Knight. Usually the Dark Knights are the ones. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've had a tank that just straight up was not using even Rampart. And the problem is those dungeons hurt. Like, I think that's where people are kind of underestimating the content. You know, the 97 dungeon, Vanguard, that's really the first dungeon of the expansion where a lot of people are in completely fresh gear, or they're still kind of making their way through leveling up their gear, right? And it's definitely tuned in a way that some of that stuff hurts. Like, it's always really funny as a sage, running through and then getting to that pack of birds after the second boss. And those things hit like trucks, for the kind of gear that most of the people right now are using with it. Yeah, I don't need to worry about it. So yeah, you got tanks that are like trying to wall pull that and then not use any mitigation. And my poor sage, I'm just like spamming everything I can to keep people alive, right? So yeah, please, tanks, learn how to use mitigation. I have noticed, apparently, Pictomancers are way OP right now, especially in old content like this. I'm curious how these other bosses are gonna go. Do we have some Pictomancers? I would assume we have at least one somewhere here in the raid. Yeah, I've heard people running old dungeons and stuff. Just like front load 5,000 potency just right up front. I have not done a whole lot with Pictomancer yet. As much as I was looking forward to the job, I've just been so busy doing other things that it's been a little difficult to get in and actually level it. Yeah, I mean, look at how fast Scylla's going down. I have to assume we've got some Pictomancers here somewhere, because they are just melting. So that's fun. No, they don't really do a whole lot with trying to focus a whole lot on balancing old content. Yeah, there we go. We got a Bob Ross down there. So I don't anticipate too many changes in terms of nerfing Pictomancer in old content. Maybe for the current content, we'll have to wait and see, because apparently they are really good in current content too. It's been a while since I've been synced down to this level. I have no abilities right now. But you know, right now I'm not going to complain. If it gets us through these alliance raids a little bit faster, then you know what? Let's do it. I am all for it. But I do need to maybe do some of this as a sage. Try and get some of those Stella clusters, right? Get those up and running. Try and get some new materia. See, there I was trying to use my Verholy and whatnot. Not available. We were talking about this in Discord the other day too. It's just some classes down sync better than others. So we'll just put it that way, right? Get over there. Yeah, it's cool. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Right, backing up a bit. Those heads down. Yeah, see, I don't even have Moulinet. That's rough. That's rough. Well, at least I can come in here and kind of spam that, I guess. Gives me something to do. Oh god, we got the expanding ice. Don't stand there, guys. Don't stand there. Getting out of there. I'm sorry. I'm not risking it. Not putting my life in puppy hands. I did see a couple people where, were trying to do blind runs of tea earlier today, which was kind of nice. I actually thought about trying to hop in one and see how that went. I have no idea how that stuff is balanced nowadays with Pictomancers being a thing. I genuinely don't. I don't know if it's easy or harder. At this point, I just want it down. And, yeah, if they made it a little bit easier and people are more interested in actually running it, then I'm all for it. I think that's the tricky part, is finding people that want to run it more than anything else. Because that's how statics are built, right? Like, you're in Party Finder. Oh, okay. You're in Party Finder looking around trying to find groups that are trying to run it blind. Just join a pug, and then, you know, you kind of get a static built from there. That's if you're not doing the whole join Discord and apply kind of thing, right? Not doing any of that again. I got 3 years worth of streams you can watch if you want my credentials. But yeah, you know, I'm not gonna be opposed to seeing that pop up in Party Finder more. Yeah, let's do some T groups. Alright, so we're like moving along. By the time we're done with this, it should be just about time for another round. Or okay. We should be basically at the point of another round of the snake. Yeah. Of the snake fates. I might have to go back and switch instances again. That wouldn't surprise me. So. Get out of here. Away from everyone. There we go. Alright, I'll just sit here. I've been bored. Oh. Kindling Aether. Okay. Ugh. The knockbacks. Forgot the knockbacks. Help us out here, guys. Gotta get us up. Come on, platform 3, maybe? I can't remember. Platform C is the one we gotta wait for. Please hit the glowing thing. I'm begging you. There we go. Or not, that's cool. Leave us down here. I guess if they got a Pictomancer, it don't really matter. Alright, here we go. You gotta remember the mantra. A, all in. B, belly. C, consumed. It don't matter where you are. If you're at the boss, get in. Keep a tank and a heals out. You're good. Yeah. Maybe they'll yell at me for not getting in the for not handling the ads. I'd rather just get the belly done first. Here we go. I mean, look at how fast this is going down. God, Pictomancers are nuts. There we go. Miniaturized. Yeah, there you go. Here you go. You guys got it. You got the heart of the cards in you. Perfect. Let's finish this sap. Wonder if our Bob Ross friend came on down. Could really use them. Ooh. Look at how fast that went. Look at how smooth that went. Alright, you guys got the chains. Gotta chain them up. There we go. We're good. You got time. There's more than enough time. Don't worry about it. Maybe? Is he gonna press it? There we go. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Learned how to hit the glowy thing. Progress, baby. Better than most of my groups since the X-Pack launched. There. They should go pretty fast. With our Picto friends. It'd be a pretty good one to maybe do some leveling on. I need to hop over to the Pictomancer a little bit more. I really have not learned a whole lot about it. Not nearly as much as I had expected to when it was announced. There we go. Come on. And Cloud of Darkness just vanishes. Just disappears. There we go. Honestly, I could probably stand to get some of the casting gear. I'm finally going to be changing around some of my retainers after God knows how many years. So, yeah, I could probably start, you know, stockpiling all of that. I've always hated how this song begins, and then I always forget how good it ends up being as it goes on. Come on, there we go. Yo, I guess I can start, you know, I think that's the first time I've actually used displacement since the expansion started. Yay. So now the question is, which instance are they going to put us in when we get back? Gonna have to switch it up, or can I just kind of chill? Wait and see. Okay, we got some clouds. Go. All right, well, I guess I'll get a couple extra hits in. Why not? Ooh, big one. It's kind of silly how fast everything is melting right now. Like, obviously, it's an alliance raid, like an old alliance raid at that. Hardly most difficult of content, but still, even with that in consideration, and even considering the fact that as far as I can tell, it's just Sky D there is the only Pictomancer that I could find. So just having the one makes that much of a difference. Apparently Vipers are a little bit on the lower end, is a bit surprising. But apparently they're also kind of play themselves. I haven't even unlocked it yet, so I'll have to rely on y'all for that. You can tell me what's wrong and right. There we go. Like, look at that. We almost got Cloud down before the hypercharged came up. That's pretty ridiculous. That is pretty fast. Even under old Alliance raid terms, right? Kind of nuts. And then, yeah, I don't know what else. Like, they're giving me tomestones. I don't know what to use them on. I know what to use the new ones on. I don't know what to use the old ones on. Got nothing. Still in... We are still in 3, so that's good. Doesn't look like it's popped yet. That's fine. Okay. Here we go again, everybody. Now, I will say, probably one of the greatest changes that they have made to this game, period, is the amount of gemstones that you get from these fates. It is absolutely ridiculous. I'm sitting at 379. I've barely touched anything, right? Like, it's just, it is nuts. Absolutely ridiculous how many gemstones you get. Now, you still have to do as many fates as you used to. They've separated a little bit more so it doesn't feel like as much of a drag all at once. But it's still like 120 per zone or something like that, I think. But on the plus side, actually getting gems is kind of nuts. I think they've kind of shifted things, right? Where they want you to use them. They want you to use your gemstones, and not just on like big mount stuff, but obviously these gemstones are a very, very big factor in your crafting, because almost every recipe these days needs like a mob drop, right? Like lesser Apollyon shells, or here Ronique steak needs Ronique chuck. There's a couple Ronique fleece things, right? And I think that was their way of encouraging you to do the fates instead of just trying to farm the mobs the entire time, right? And honestly, I don't hate it, because it is so much faster, and you are getting other things done in the meantime. So yeah, like, I kind of dig it. I'm actually, like, on track. Maybe, here we go. Maybe not in some of the zones, but some of the other zones. Once the master recipes come out, I think I'll have a little bit better lay of the land in terms of which zones I need to do the most in and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm on track to actually do the entire, like, city gemstone trader unlock, which I never thought I would see. I mean, that's a lot of fates, guys. That is a lot of fates. But even just sitting here waiting for the snake has added up quite a bit. And then, yeah, when it comes time to actually start collecting materials and do some of the master recipe stuff, yeah, I'm gonna be using those gems. So, like, why not just go ahead and get them done? Like, what am I at right now? How are we feeling here in Shalani? I've done no fates in 5, so I gotta work on that a little bit. Yeah, I mean, look at that. We're already 4 of 40 through here. And that's almost entirely just waiting on the snake. I've come in here and done maybe a handful, like less than 10 fates, just to try and stock up gemstones for Ronique Chuck. Everything else has just been waiting for the snake. You know, running around in a big pack, doing some of the other fates while waiting for this. Yeah, these that have the bonus supplied, now that those give bonus gemstones, like, it gets kind of nuts. Some of the boss fates that give bonus gemstones, you're talking like 101 fate. That's so good. That's so good. And, like, it doesn't seem like all that much in the grand scheme of things, but that's because so many people are just thinking about it in terms of, like, the amount, right? But when you're talking about three gemstones per crafting item, like, yeah, you're going to burn through those. Like, that one fate is a nice little stack of Ronique Chuck, but, you know, spending that 30 Ronique Chuck, that's less than an hour for me to make several $100,000 of gil, right? Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I guess I need to go and do a little bit of Zone 5 and see what all we've got there. I've done a little bit. Now that I've got level 95 botany and mining, I can actually see the nodes there. And yeah, there's a few things that I need. The Ronique steak needs some garlic. I'm not quite at a level where I can 100% it. mean, I can. I just have to burn through all my GP to do it. But from that, there wasn't a whole lot that I can use there yet. I need to take a look. Next thing that I've been working on has been my alchemist. So a lot of alchemy stuff. And after that, I will probably work on carpentry, just because carpentry has a lot of the housing stuff. And I like crafting the housing items for myself, if nothing else. Now that I've got my bike funds back, now that I've made back all of the money that I spent on that Solution 9 bike, then now I can start looking at getting an FC made and maybe buying an FC house. We've got, you know, we've got the funds, we've got a little bit of flexibility, but if I do that, then I'm gonna need to start making some housing items. I'm gonna need to build up that crafting, right? I saw that they've got like that sky view deck or something like that. I haven't actually taken a look to see what it looks like actually at the sitting actually at my house. So I need to make sure that first of all I'm stepping into my house. Even though I'm doing out, you know, out doing Dawn Trail content, I need to make sure that I'm resetting that timer. But yeah, I need to take a look at some of the new items. They sound interesting. What is it called again? Like Skyview Terrace or something. Outdoor furnishing. Stargazing deck. Yeah. That looks kind of cool. So I guess it's one of the big ones, right? It's like one of those ones that's got like 2 levels. It's very big. I don't know where I would put it. It doesn't seem all that difficult to make. The Sacronet would probably be the hardest part for me, because my Weaver's not all that leveled up. Hey, how's the growth formula Lambda? That shouldn't be too difficult. Oh yeah, that's like the base level growth formula. That's easy. I don't even need to use food for that macro. Yeah, now that my culinarian is at 100, I need to figure out how to start getting on some orange script and start getting some gear. I'd like to craft some of the big time heavy hitting gear. I don't think there's a whole lot that I can make right now, but yeah, I need to make some of the actual crafting gear at this point. Now that I am an Omnicrafter, it'll be a little bit easier. It's just making that first set is always kind of difficult. You gotta maybe try it a couple of times to get it high quality. But once you do it, like, you've got it for all of your crafters at that point. So, kind of, it just becomes a rolling snowball from there. Yeah, I need to get my Weaver up, get that taken care of. But yeah, you know, aside from that, it's just kind of business as usual. I mean, we'll still be hopping in here and doing a lot of content, especially as Arcadian starts coming out. It's just, yeah, you know, I'm trying to think of some other content, some other games that we can finally start getting back into, other than Horizon FF8, of course. There really wasn't a whole lot else on the list for this year. I know Steam Summer Sale was going on. Didn't really have a whole lot, one that I could afford, but nothing really super interesting that was popping up on my feed, at least in my wish list. You know, I saw Game Passes going up a little bit, so that kind of puts a damper on a couple things. But, you know, it's time to look at some other just small games. You know, we've done a lot of like big AAA stuff lately. It'd be nice to kind of have like a smaller, just kind of chill indie game or something like that we can just kind of do what we're doing right now, just a nice Zatsu game. I mean, if we need to, I still am stuck in the bog in Jump King, so that's always an option. But the thing with Jump King is that, like, I need to have a list of topics prepared for that, because that is a straight Zatsu stream, and I can't talk about the mechanics of the game of Jump King like I can for Dawn Trail. Doesn't have quite that much content to it. So, you know, that is an option. It's a shame. It's a shame living in the middle of nowhere where not a whole lot goes on. And working retail, where I don't really have too many interesting stories from the job, other than just customers being retail customers, right? So, so yeah, that one, I might need to stock up on a little bit more of the old life experience. Have some topics ready for Jump King, but you know, that kind of stuff. I don't know. Did they ever put in Suika game with an EN translation? Like, is that like available on PC yet? I know that there's been like a lot of copycats, but either they just didn't look like they played as smoothly, or just didn't look as interesting. Like, I never got on the Suika game train, and I really want to play it. So, there's that too. I know, yeah, the dev for HoloCure was teasing some stuff not too long ago. So I think maybe for the next update on that, we'll have an option. I haven't played as much of the new one. You know, I did a couple rounds of it with Polka. But yeah, like once you kind of had one playthrough done, there wasn't as much to kind of keep me coming back to it. Like, all you can really buy is like emotes and stuff. I like the concept of being able to play it on local 4-player, but there wasn't a whole lot else to kind of keep me playing it like HoloCure. HoloCure, I mean, you can run through that all day, right? Like Vampire Survivors, you got a lot of stuff you can do. You know, while we're here, I guess we'll go back down and try and get those mesquite beans. Start stocking up on those. I don't think we're gonna have any luck this round. Typically, once the fate chain is done, it usually takes about 5 minutes to spawn. If it hasn't spawned in that 5 minutes, you can go and do some other stuff, right? Oop, over here on this side, there we go. The good thing is, like, it's still pretty difficult to take down. Like I said, it takes a good 10 minutes or so. 5 if it's just an exceptionally large group. So yeah, you know, we've got time to get back up there if it does magically pop. But I don't think it will this go. So yeah, let's get some crafting done. I don't know how much actually used this oh, hey, there we go. I can't remember how much actually used mesquite beans. It was really important for one of the job quests. So there's that. Yeah, we'll have to take a look. I need to look and see. I need to look and see what some of the good food is going to be. But it's literally just prickly pear juice. Oh, there we go. I'm looking for direct hit, right? Like, that's the big one for me, is direct. But I don't know right now what everyone else is using. Supposedly they buff tenacity, but judging by those Dark Knights that I had the other night, the last night, we gotta talk about your definition of buff. Alright, where are we going now? Okay. I have not done a whole lot of these nodes, so I don't know them as well. I feel like I have noticed that the nodes are much farther apart than they used to be. More so than normal. I might actually try going down there and getting that mature tree. I have not unlocked. I don't know what the deal is, if I need more tomes or what. Because I've got these collectibles. Oh, hey, there we go. Got these collectibles that I can't do anything with. Like, they're not showing up at the collectible appraiser. So I think maybe I need to get their tomes? I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, like I've got all of that stuff kind of down. I can get a fair few of the legendary nodes. At least part of them. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, why it's not showing up at the collectible appraiser, if they even have any, if it's even available yet. Just sitting taking up my inventory, and I'm like, man, I want to turn these in for scripts, right? Oh, wow. Cauliflower, so I'm like nowhere near it. What am I at? Requires 448. Oh yeah, I can't even touch that. That's like nowhere close. Okay. That's once you've got script gear. Gotcha. Okay. Well, it was worth a shot, now I know. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Like, why these are not showing up in my collectible appraiser. Like, let me turn them in, man. Like, I don't want them sitting in my bags. I'm high enough level to do it. I feel like if you can touch the tree, you can get the drops you need from the tree, then you should be able to see it at the collectible appraiser. I don't know. I really have no idea why they're not showing up. It's a boon from nature. It's all right. Like, I've got coal at 100, but I kind of slowed down on my botany and mining once I got them to the point where I can actually see stuff in the last 2 zones. So yeah. Forget the unrendered rock. Yeah, we haven't had any weird bugs like that in a while, as funny as that was. I don't mind harmless bugs like that, but yeah, if you missed the boat. What was it, Shadowbringers or was it Endwalker? 2020 I think was Shadowbringers. Yeah, they put out a patch that had a rock that was unrendered. Just smooth rock. Baby smooth. It was very funny. It became kind of a pilgrimage in the like half a day that it was available before they put it in. Before they fixed it. Here we go. Yeah, I might as well get leveled up a little bit. I forgot that I actually kind of like doing the gathering leaves more so than the crafting leaves. Crafting leaves, some of those crafts are kind of a pain to make. You always have those 1 or 2 tiers where it's like you don't have something simple. You still need like 5 different items to craft just for 1 leaf, right? But the field craft stuff is good. I like the field craft leaves. You just go, you touch some nodes, you're all set, man. Alright, is he stirring? He's a stirring. He's stirring once again. And I was really hoping this thing would pop on stream so you guys could see it, but you know, we've tried everything. We've tried a stack of the we've had a stack of the Fall Guys Rhino. We've had whale stacks. We've had UFO with the clusters. I mean, we tried every summoning technique in the book, and really none of them have been working. I was hoping maybe we'd have a little bit of streamer luck, but I'm guessing not. Right, well, you know, I might as well go and do the fate, I guess. I feel like that's enough mesquite beans. They probably only sell for like 250 right now, but you know, when you got a stack of 100 of them, it adds up. If you're wanting to make money off of this, like crafting, that kind of thing, right now the big thing are intermediate craft. Like some of the stuff, like some of the big food, and obviously some of the alchemy stuff, you know, those things are kind of evergreen. They're always going to be selling if you can make the Ronique steak or whatever. But for a lot of the other crafting stuff, is just like the gem sap, some of the intermediary, you know, the crafts that you need to make the other crafts in Culinarian, that kind of thing, right? So yeah, there's definitely money to be made. I'm sure it's starting to even out now that we are no longer in like early access, right? Like people are getting these leveled up. So I've been kind of focusing on the food. Like it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if I'm giving away the trade secrets or anything like that on stream for the food or the potions, because those are consumed. People are always going to be using those. There's always going to be a market for it. Might not always be the highest in the market, but there will be a market, right? That's kind of just been where I'm putting my focus. But since it's still fairly early in the expansion, and everyone's kind of leveling a different crafter to start, like you can still do pretty well. I also don't know how inflation has kind of changed things up a little bit, because money feels like it's much easier to get now. So yeah, with the maps and everything. So yeah, it's it could stay fairly high, you know, if you've been trying to save up and get that house. Now's a good time to do it. Now, that probably means the price to actually, if you want to like buy someone's FC and get their house with it, I'm sure the prices have risen on that. Like it used to be, I think the last time I was in NFC, I think we paid 60 million. It's probably 60 million for the FC and their large. Instead of having to go through the lottery, we were all pulling our stuff. I mean, my buddy Yukari, I mean, she was a she's a longtime Omni crafter, and that's kind of all she does in the game. And she's not doing high-end raids. So he had a lot of money to begin with, but we still pulled up quite a bit. You know, pulled things together. Then obviously RP drama happened, so that went away, and like that lasted 6 months. Yeah, I think she stuck it out a little bit longer before moving on. But yeah, that FC lasted like 6 months before RP drama happened. To just say, like, if you're going to create an FC and create a Discord, honestly, the easiest thing you can possibly do to avoid drama, don't make a not safe for work channel. Ban it outright. Like, yeah, we know you're all hoarding here in FF14, but got Twitter tags if you want to get that stuff. You just don't deal with it as an FC owner and a mod. Like that was the downfall, I think, of everything. Yeah, just don't make a not safe for work channel. The best Discords I've ever been in are ones that just straight up don't have one. It's just easier to moderate. There's less drama. People are much less creepy. So yeah, that's my there's your golden Balmung ambassador RP advice. If you're going to be creating your own FC, let them stick to their own means for that kind of stuff. All right, five minutes, guys. Surely this time it'll be 5 minutes. I fear shall not fare as well. Yeah, well, I'll let them take it. Oh no, is Taylor Swift gone? Oh, there we go. Back here, buddy. We need you. Come to think of it, between all of these fates, I might need another Thab Onion soon. That'll be nice. That's the secret win to all of this. Not the gemstones. Not leveling up your alt jobs. It's just nice to get my chocobo level after all of this time. What happened, Frederica? What'd you do? What'd you do to these gators? You know, if I need to go to our local Cajun place. It's been a while since I've been. I'm kind of craving some gator tails. It doesn't help that I've been binge watching Kitchen Nightmares and making. I don't know why I do this to myself. All right, I do this with anime. I do this with social media. Pretty much everything I do, I end up making myself hungrier than I thought I could ever possibly be. And it doesn't help that I'm watching all of this stuff at 3 o'clock in the morning when nothing is open. Like, the only thing that I can really go and get at this time of night is a bag of Doritos and maybe a Slim Jim from the local convenience store. I've got to stop doing this to myself, man. I've got to get some food ready for the overnight hours. It's not been going well. Yeah, Kitchen Nightmares has been fun. Remember when, you know, I worked for one of the big talk shows, we had Gordon on the show, and he got really mad at our host because she kept pestering him, and he ended up cutting his finger, which is like, it's gonna happen as a chef at some point, but like for Chef Ramsay, obviously he's been doing this a while, so it's typically not a problem. Yeah, he was just getting annoyed because she was just constantly nagging him. like trying to be funny, right? And yeah, you can't really distract someone who's got a knife in their hands. Not a good idea. Yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I do enjoy a little kitchen nightmares. Go ahead and, I mean, if they're gonna put me up here right next to the Ronique anyways, like I might as well get a little bit of the fleece and stuff. I've been selling the fleece just because I have been so far behind on my weaver. I should probably start saving it up a little bit. It's just, man, I'm running out of bag space. Need to do a little spring cleaning, I think. Like, yeah, if I'm right here in the area, why would I not farm them? I mean, the gemstones are definitely the easiest way to buy en masse, but I'm not gonna say no to, like, a couple of free items while I'm standing right next to where the fate spawns. Break out. Okay. How many times do you gotta do the fate for the mount? 5 minutes in the thousands column. I do like the Pelu Pelu quite a bit. And I don't know if you have done all of the, if you did the Culinarian and Alchemist quests, but definitely do them. Pelu Pelu are interesting, man. They're just like constantly hungover, apparently. They're drunker than Moogles. I thought that was a nice little touch. I had a lot of fun with that step. Yeah, that's the only one I've completed so far. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it was a little better than the job quests. The job quests are kind of, they start kind of strong. But in the end, they're kind of like whatever, honestly. They're not bad, not great. A lot of talking, not a lot of fighting. A lot of running back and forth. At least it was on the Red Mage one. I wasn't super impressed with it. But I am curious how things are going to go once I get all of the job quests done. To see what that final capstone quest is like, right? That's kind of where it all tends to come together. Well, I guess I can go ahead and get a couple more. People really saving up this time around. Okay. Guy's dying on me again. Okay. Nice, nice. This is the one. I gotta believe. I gotta believe. Before I log out and go get some food, I gotta believe this will be the one that is spawned. I want you guys to see the snake. If you have not seen the snake yet, he's kind of fun. He's a big chunky boy. Staying up here. Stay nice and out of the way. I feel like last time when I did see it spawn, like 5 minutes sounds about right. I think it's kind of like on a, it's just RNG. But it sounds like 5 minutes was about right, to be honest. 3 to 5. I don't even really remember anything special happening with it. Like, I just looked at my screen and it was like, oh, the fate has started. The snake has come out. Like, I don't remember, like, a yell or anything like that throughout the zone. Maybe there was, but I don't recall seeing it in the chat box. You just kind of got to be on top of it. Got to keep an eye on it. Now, the fate does show up on the minimap now, though. So that's like a really good change. If you're AFK, you won't be suddenly surprised. You should get the little pop. Hey, there we go, and we leveled up. Nice. I'm still getting used to... on my ult. My ult is level 100. She hasn't finished zone 6. I want to go through and do all the job quests. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Sage AF gear this time around. I feel like the classic Sage is just kind of the nice school jacket. I'm not a big fan of like the robes that look like graduate robes. They're kind of chunky. So like I'm not in a huge rush to actually go through and get the dyeable AF gear on it. But I want to get it done and just see what it's like. But she is 100, and yeah, the capstone move you get at 100 is kind of weird. Like, it gives everyone a buff that lets them heal themselves using attacks. So yeah, it's a little. I'm uncertain of when I need to be popping it. Normally, my big like raid wide or big chunky damage coming in is always Panhaima, right? But it feels like this one might be pretty strong too. But it's like, it feels like they kind of want you to line it up with the 2-minute burst phase. I think it might actually be a 3-minute cooldown. It feels like they kind of want you to line it up with all of the other like big burst phase cooldowns. But that cooldown isn't necessarily when all of your damage is going out. Like, I'm really uncertain when to use it, because yeah, your burst phase doesn't always align with when the boss is actually hitting you a ton. So yeah, but it is kind of neat. It kind of takes a little pressure off. It seems like the heal is pretty beefy from the few times I panic hit it in a couple of the dungeons where I've had to deal with some really bad tanks. So yeah, like it. I would have liked more of like a damage ability, kind of like Numa. But you know, I'll allow it. We did get a pretty, you know, we did get that nice AoE a little bit earlier on as a Sage, like our new AoE, instead of having to wait to 100 to get it. So that, you know, I guess it does even out. I can't expect us to get that many new moves. But, you know, anyone that was saying that healing is too easy has clearly had better tanks than I've had. That's for sure. And the new dungeons, like, they all hit pretty hard. Even when everyone kind of knows what they're doing, there's a couple of spicy pulls when you're doing the wall pull thing, right? So yeah, I'm having a good time. I love my Sage, I'll be honest. Like, it's by far and away my favorite healer, bar none, not even a competition. I've had just a blast playing it. It's probably why I've been taking so long to level up my Picto, right? Because I'm leveling my Sage and I'm having too much fun leveling the Sage. Plus, I know it. I feel like I'm a pretty good Sage. You know, I don't know how I compare. Obviously, as a Red Mage, I have a lot of pride in my Red Mage play. I don't know where I sit on my Sage play. But I feel like I've had a pretty good time of saving the raid on multiple occasions, to say the least. So yeah, it's kind of my go-to other class, especially, you know, as I get a level up. I want to get through those fast queue times and whatnot. At a 70% chance. Yeah. See, the chat's going off right now about, given how we are failing in multiple times to summon him at around a 70% chance. Again, that is not a 70% chance for him to spawn. That's not what the bar and Falud means. It just means 70% of the window for him to spawn has gone through, and once it hits 100, the spawn chance will be capped at whatever the max spawn chance is. We don't know what the max spawn chance is. It could be 100%. It could be 25%. We don't really know. All that bar means is that the chance to spawn will be capped at whatever its max cap is, essentially, as I understand it. Yeah, that bar is not the percent chance to spawn. Yeah, so right now, if it has a 10% chance to spawn, we are 70% of the way through that bar. It's got a 7% chance to spawn right now. That's essentially what that means. Once it reaches 100%, that bar reaches 100%, then it means the chance to spawn would be 10%. because that's the max cap that it's got. I think it's higher than that as time goes on. It wouldn't surprise me if it does eventually hit 100% because of the way the cycle works, but we don't know for sure. Yeah, we will never know the actual chance. That math is probably handled server side, so it's nothing that can really data mined, so to speak. We just kind of have to guesstimate based on all of the data that we've got. You know, all of the times that it has spawned across all the servers, and you compile that data, see the average of how long it took. Like, that's probably the better way to do it. Is look at the bell curve of the spawn times from when the window opens to when it's killed. See what the average spawn time is. That's far and away the best way to do it if you're really worried about whether you're in the range or not. Yeah. Killing more fate chains doesn't increase the percent chance of spawning. It just means that if it can spawn, it will, right? Like, we're not increasing the rate with every cycle of the chain. The only thing that can increase the chance of it spawning is time. The only way to do it is to sit here and wait. There's no way to speed it up manually through doing the fates. You just gotta sit and you gotta wait. That's all you can do. I don't think it's going to spawn this time. I think we're gonna be doing another round here. But that said, you know, I literally woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning and just turned on this stream. I have not even had breakfast yet. I think that's gonna be it for now. You know, I was really hoping this thing would spawn on the stream, but I don't think we're gonna be lucky enough to do it. So we're gonna go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and call it. You know, I just wanted to get in here, touch base with y'all, say hi, tell you that I'm alive, talk a little bit about VTubing, just kind of chat in the morning while I wake up. But, you know, I've got work this afternoon, and then we'll be back to it. I've got a day off tomorrow, and then we've got a few days off next week, so we'll play around with that and see how that's going to go, and maybe switch it up a little bit, get back into Horizon, get back into FF8, get back to all the normal stuff that we do, and then just kind of keep FF14 in the background when we've got some content that sounds interesting to do. But that said, you know, I hope everyone has a good rest of your Thursday. Obviously, if you want to see when we're going live again, hit the like and subscribe button. Help us get up to that 1,500 subs and beyond. You know, all of the support is definitely helpful. Please, I really want out of retail. It's my bar is so low, my friends. Just 10 seconds of your time watching the channel helps out. More than you possibly realize. But that being said, I'm gonna go and make, I don't even know what I've got in the freezer. Probably like a Zataran's blackened Alfredo or something like that. Just something to wake me up. It'll be tasty and completely unfilling because it's just not enough food. That's what I'm gonna go do. So thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.